When we progress through any journey of soul awakening, soul growth, or soul expansion, we want to know who we are, and we want to understand how the who that we are is flowing within the human experience. And as we begin to awaken to the soul essence of our being, we want to have a way to bridge those worlds and to be fully connected and attuned with our soul essence while also being fully anchored into the human experience without compromise to either aspect. If we drift too much into the soul, we might disown some of our humanness. And if we're focused on our humanness, we're missing on the bigger picture of who we truly are. And so when we're progressing through this journey of soul awakening, and we are attuning with the essence of who we really are beyond just that which we have experienced, we dive deeper in our inner journeys. We want to heal things that need to be healed. We want to heal those traumas, heal those past experiences, resolve those chronic internal disruptions of navigation. We want to have more authority to understand and shift and influence and repattern our thoughts, our feelings, our choices, our emotions, our responses, our movement patterns, the way our body-mind naturally navigates the feelings and movements of everyday moments and translates the details of personal experience and projects them through the consciousness of our soul essence. And we want to have more power and opportunity to connect with the truth of who we are, to know our infinite self and our true soul identity within everyday moments and beyond all experience simultaneously. So much can get accomplished when we embrace such a journey. Any past experiences can be healed, transformed, resolved, and repatterned in terms of how the energetic data from those experiences is flowing through the navigational structures of our body-mind and affecting us right here, right now. We can dive into the brain-body wiring that's affecting our everyday moments, the navigation of our thoughts, feelings, movements, choice tendencies, etc., and the regulation that supports the way we move through every moment, through all the regulatory processes of brain waves and brain hemispheric balance and frontal lobe engagement and mohawk of self-awareness and cranial nerve functionality and digestion, respiration, the nervous system, circadian rhythms, hormones, neurotransmitters, all of it, all the miracles, somatic processing, all of it. And we can expand into a rejuvenated identity of associating with the essence of all that we are. How do we do this? How do we accomplish so much, such astronomically transformative, life-shifting, life-changing, life-expanding, delicious, dynamic, deep-diving ecstasy of knowing the expanse of our own being and reunifying with the truth of our essence and resolving decades of unprocessed experiences and transmuting the navigational structures and trillions of brain-body networks and understanding how the essence of consciousness flows through it all and who we are within and beyond it. And to have this knowledge in such an integrated way that, yes, the tools can be there if we want to set some time aside and do an hour where we're diving deep and just focusing on our inward work and doing a meditation or a self-hypnosis or journaling or whatever, and something where we're just focused on that inward journey. But how can it exist in such a way that in everyday moments, in the breaths in between, in the moments of listening to our heartbeat, in between everyday moments, in between driving places, in between running errands, in between preparing food, in between taking care of ourselves, in between the work that we do, in between socially interacting with other people, in between brushing our teeth and washing our hair and sweeping the hallway and unloading the dishwasher and gardening in the yard and responding to work inquiries and whatever it might be. How can we apply this wisdom, this knowledge, these concepts in such a way that we can actually harness it in the everyday moments in between, where even if there's just 30 seconds or 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 15 minutes in the in-betweens, not scheduled, not planned, just flowing with our daily existence, the insights, the knowledge, the tools, the techniques, the practices, the modalities, the wisdom, teachings can be harnessed to accomplish everything we just described. to fulfill any intention you might have in any given moment. And this is the profound purpose and potential and power of exploring aspects of self through neuroscience consciousness with unconditional love. And that is the modality of my Trifecta Treasure Trove, and original concepts cultivated during the past 6+ years, over 20,000 hours of work in my Implicit Revelations case study. And so the Trifecta Treasure Trove includes several different modalities that have different ways of interlapping with each other. But among the powerful potentials that these concepts explore, we venture into the neuroscience of our experiences. And this can help understand the structures in brain-body wiring and body-mind miracles, which includes the subconscious mind, but it also includes so much more than just what we might describe as the subconscious mind. All the brain-body wiring, body-mind miracles, we explore how that is actually affecting the essence of our soul within the human experience. We explore left, right brain hemispheres, midbrain, forebrain, hindbrain, the triune brain. We explore the nervous system in relation with social engagement and the impact of that. And this includes the autonomic nervous system, but then it also includes other things like respiration, digestion, circadian rhythms, hormones, neurotransmitters, other regulatory processes throughout brain-body systems. We explore attachment development and neurodevelopment and the experiences that originally sculpted these structures into being. We explore unconscious memories and the patterns of feeling and movement they carry, and other patterns of navigation stored in trillions of complex networks. And those 5 components of neuroscience are among the miracles we explore when we venture into understanding different aspects of self through neuroscience, consciousness, and unconditional love through modalities in the Trifecta Treasure Trove. And then we explore the way that the body-mind navigation is structured through data from every year of life, explicit and implicit pieces of information with different navigational roles and navigational priorities within that subconscious mind, the subconscious mind or the body mind saying, okay, I need to navigate this area of life in this way, and this area of life in this way, and this area of life in this way, based on the navigational patterns stored, which includes unconscious memories. Because the purpose of memories is to provide navigation, not to store the past. So data from every area of life with explicit and implicit pieces of information, different navigational roles with internal priorities, subconscious priorities. The priorities are happening beyond awareness. And different styles of self-associations, the way that the body-mind navigates associating with its own existence, and how it navigates associations with all other components of reality. And so those are 5 elements that we explore to understand the organization within the navigational structures of the body-mind. And that references another original concept created during my case study called the etiological quintet of body-mind navigation. So then we've explored body-mind structures, and through that we can understand how past experiences were processed and stored. We can understand the patterns affecting our thinking, feeling, moving, and choosing right here, right now. And we can understand how the essence of our soul self is flowing through it all. And then we start to explore, okay, so that's the brain-body wiring, that's the experience, but who is the self within it? And then we start to explore consciousness. We start to explore consciousness. Who or what is consciousness? And we start to activate the soul and awaken to the soul essence in new ways. And then we explore, okay, so now we're a little bit attuned with the essence of divine soul, pure consciousness, soul essence, however you want to describe it, whatever term resonates, soul, consciousness, essence. Now, who is that? What is that? What is the identity of that consciousness? What is the identity of that soul within and beyond the human experience? If there's all these patterns of navigation from all these things that have been experienced in this life, but that is not the self, then who is the identity of the self? What is the identity of the self? And then we start to explore, okay, there's consciousness, but then there's also the specified, individuated experience. So where is the correlation there? So then we explore how infinite awareness is navigating infinite energy. How infinite awareness is navigating infinite energy. And then we're exploring more specifically how infinite awareness is within the personal experience of navigating the perception of energy within the mind, especially through masculine energy, the reception of energy in the body, especially through feminine energy, and the preservation or sustainment of that energy and self-essence, and the extension or giving or emission of that energy. The sustainment and extension of energy from the flow of perceiving and receiving it. And so then we're exploring a more expanded state of awareness to understand the correlation between this consciousness or soul and our everyday life moments. And we look at the concept of that and its application in so many everyday moments. Literally any moment of any day, any type of experience you could possibly be having, we explore how to connect with this expanded state of awareness. And then we start to play with this expanded state of awareness. And we look at who the self-essence was during early years of life before the brain and the body developed into what exists now today, including ages 2 through 12. And we're not looking at experiences, although we can when we're exploring attachment development and connecting with neuroscience. But more specifically, we are exploring the energetic essence of self. The energetic essence of self, how the self experienced their own energetic state of being beyond the patterns, beyond the programs, beyond the experiences, beyond the projections and whatever else was going on, whatever might have restricted the self or developed the brain and the body in a very specific way that may or may not have supported the authentic essence of self, but in pure states of beingness. In those early life years before the brain and the body were developed into what exists now. Who was that self? And how can we connect with that energetic essence of self? Again, not just the details of experience, although they can be used as a catalyst in some situations, but we want to connect with the energetic essence of self, the energetic state of being that existed. And then, how does that energetic essence of self connect with the energy of self right here, right now, in this immediate now moment, the eternity of this now moment? Not present day, not what was going on 5 minutes ago, not the self that existed yesterday, not the self who might be experiencing something 2 hours from now, the self existing right here, right now, in the immediate eternity of this now present moment. And to connect with the essence of self, the essence of soul in that now moment, and that original foundation of self-essence. And to allow for an expanded state of awareness with the identity of soul self in this way through pure consciousness. From that space of connecting deeper with the authentic soul self, then we look into, okay, there's all these aspects of self that are flowing through BodyMInd miracles from all this data from every year of life, like we just described. Now, are those self aspects able to support the unity of the authentic self? Or are some of those parts of the self maybe restricted, maybe stuck in unprocessed brain-body wiring, past experiences, patterns of thinking, feeling, moving, and responding that don't support that authentic essence of self? And how can we explore those inner realities in a way that deeply and honors and validates and holds space for those parts of the self, while also creating space to spark some transformation and liberation and restoration so that those aspects of self do support the authentic essence of being? And so anything in the brain, body wiring, body mind structures can be resculpted to navigate that authentic essence of self, rather than there being all these parts of the self flowing through all this data from the past, several decades or whatever it might be, that don't allow for a deeper connection with that present moment self and that foundational self essence. And so we explore it in that way. And then we're also exploring the bridge between inner and outer realities through mind, body, and spirit. And we explore the mind and the inner and outer realities and experiences of the mind and how that self-essence flows through the mind. We explore inner and outer realities and how self-essence flows through the body. We explore inner and outer realities and how self-essence flows through its spirit soul essence. And then we explore the bridge between mind, body, and spirit, and the bridge between inner and outer realities through mind, body, and spirit. And we explore this in a way that actually has direct relation with everything else we just talked about. How does that inner and outer reality through mind, body, and spirit correlate with left, right brain hemispheres, the triune brain, unconscious memories, nervous system activity, pure consciousness, navigating the reception, perception, sustainment, and extension of energy, etc.? And so all the things that we're talking about here have connections with each other. They're not isolated conversations. They're not independent topics. They all connect. The 5 components of consciousness, the 5 components of neuroscience, the 5 components of body-mind navigation are all united and correlated and interacting with each other through the original models of the Trifecta Treasure Trove, including the liberated consciousness diagram and the expanded spirit diagram, and how they can overlay and interplay with each other. And we can also explore characteristics of consciousness and how that is anchored into body-mind miracles of navigation and self-essence within personal experience. And this includes, but is not limited to, masculine and feminine energies. Masculine and feminine energies. Masculine and feminine energies are characteristics of consciousness. Far beyond gender or orientation or physical bodies, there are masculine and feminine energies at play in the totality of the universe. And we look at how masculine and feminine energies of divine consciousness are actually anchored into the human experience through brain-body wiring and through body-mind miracles. And again, we're looking at the correlation between all these things. So how does masculine and feminine energy interplay with mind-body-spirit connection? How do masculine and feminine energies interplay with projections of navigation from unconscious memories? How do masculine and feminine energies interplay with these different brain regions? Mind, body, spirit connection, the triune brain hemispheres. How do masculine and feminine energies interplay with attachment development and specific internal needs of attachment systems? And so we explore all of this. And we also explore the key component that holds it all together. So we're exploring how all of that is tied in with each other, right? Attachment development, neurodevelopment, left-right brains, midbrain, forebrain, hindbrain, and the triune brain, nervous system activity in relation with social engagement, and how it affects all regulatory processes stemming from the autonomic nervous system and moving beyond that. Patterns of feeling and movement and unconscious memories, navigational patterns in trillions of complex brain-body networks described as the body-mind, which are stored in data from every year of life with explicit and implicit pieces carrying different navigational roles and priorities that affect the way we associate with ourselves and associate with all components of reality, and who or what is consciousness within and beyond the experience of that brain-body wiring, and who is the identity of the soul as love, and how can you connect with the essence of self from the primal foundational essence of the soul before the brain and the body were developed into existence, and the essence of self existing here and now, and self aspects bridging the worlds between those roots of the self or the soul, and masculine and feminine energies, characteristics of consciousness, mind, body, spirit connection, inner and outer realities, infinite awareness, navigating the perception, reception, sustainment, and extension of energy within everyday moments. Okay, so we explore how all of those things are interacting with each other to understand our life experiences, to connect deeper with parts of self, but then we look at what holds it all together. And there's one thing, and one thing alone that holds all of that together. There's one thing, and one thing alone that holds all of that together. Do you have any guesses? I bet you know. I bet the depths of your heart already know. Do you have a guess as to the one binding glue that holds all of that and all of us into the being that we are? One thing is love. Is love. And the love that we are is bridged through body-mind miracles and realms of consciousness through the attachment needs of body-mind miracles. The love that we are, the structures of brain-body wiring, the navigational patterns of trillions of networks, and how the essence of our soul is able to know and experience itself. It's all held together by love, but that love is made manifest in the human experience through attachment needs. And so while we explore attachment development in terms of the experiences that first sculpted the brain and body into existence, we dive even deeper into exploring attachment systems. And again, this is through original models that have been sculpted through my work. And this originated because of suppressed childhood trauma that disrupted attachment development and led to some very complex and severe health challenges throughout this lifetime. And through the journey of self-healing, all of that, I was able to really dive deep into understanding what attachment development really is, what it means, what it looks like, how it affects us, how it impacts the essence of our soul, how it affects brain-body wiring, how it impacts and influences the navigational structures of body-mind miracles that affect the way our soul essence is able to know and experience its own self and the beautiful miracles of life. And so we explore attachment systems, and this is through the original models offered exclusively through my Trifecta Treasure Trove. And we explore in the expanded spirit diagram the original attachment development that sculpted it, and 3 layers of attachment needs. The need to feel tenderly held and abundantly taken care of, the need to feel playful, fun, and adventurous, playfulness, fun, and the need for creative expression, authentic expression, bold expression, creativity, and how each of these 3 layers of attachment needs in the expanded spirit diagram correlate with specific stages of attachment development during early years of life, and can thus allow us to connect with different aspects of the inner child or foundational self-essence in different ways. When we create space to tenderly hold our inner child, we're usually not connecting with the early teen. We're usually connecting with much younger self aspects, and this can be somatically felt in the body in a way that can create powerful transformation and inner child liberation, deeper self-connection, and reattunement with regulation and navigation and body-mind miracles, etc. And so we look at those 3 layers of attachment needs, how they correlate with original stages of early neurodevelopment, and how we can connect with different aspects of the inner child in different ways, and thus have a deeper attunement with the foundation of our self-essence in everyday life. And then we explore the liberated consciousness diagram, which has 4 different attachment systems that each correlate with specific internal needs and are correlated with different regions of navigational networks and brain-body wiring that have different relationships with each other. And so the first, second, third, and fourth attachment system each connect with each other in different ways and have their own navigational priorities and structures. And again, we're looking at how those 5 components of neuroscience, 5 components of body-mind navigation, and 5 components of consciousness are all interacting in relation with this. So we're not just exploring this as an isolated topic, we're exploring the integration of all of those ideas in relation with this. And that just makes this even more powerful. And so we can look at how unconscious memories hold patterns of feeling and movement in relation with these attachment needs. We can look at how infinite awareness navigates the perception, reception, sustainment, and extension of energy within personal experience in relation with these attachment needs. We explore how consciousness experiences its own masculine and feminine energy through body-mind miracles and the navigation of self and life in relation with these attachment needs. So we're looking at the integration and correlation between all of these ideas, but then also their personal application and how it can be used to help you go through the soul awakening, soul growth, soul expansion, body-mind transformation, brain-body rewiring, life resculpting, life expanding, life shifting, life changing, whatever your intention is. And so we look at 4 systems of attachment needs in the liberated consciousness diagram. And this includes the need to feel seen and loved and treasured and celebrated and wanted and valued with a sense of belonging and safety, security, protection, provision, sustainment, stability, connection, support, collaboration, community, closeness, vulnerability, respect, recognition, embrace, allowance, opportunistic space, directional guidance, purpose, with a sense of importance. And so we look at the fabric that holds all of this together. All the structures of brain-body wiring, all the miracles of our own navigation, regulation of self and life, all the different aspects of our soul within the human experience. We look at the fabric that holds it all together, and that is love. But within the human experience, that includes experiences of love that create navigational patterns in relation with these attachment needs and the process of attachment development, and how social engagement in relation with these attachment needs affects us all throughout life, not just during the first decade or 2 of life. And so beyond just traditional models of attachment development, we're looking at how attachment systems are the foundation and the fabric and the blueprint and the core outline and the primal structures of our own existence throughout our entire human journey, and how they bridge worlds between the navigation and regulation of the unconscious body and the subconscious mind, which is what I call the body mind. And we look at how these experiences of love or attachment needs and attachment systems bridge worlds between consciousness and the neuroscience of the human experience, or brain-body wiring, or the neuroscience of psychology. And we look at how these attachment systems affect us in everyday life. Okay, so that's just like the preface, right? Like exploring these ideas and understanding these ideas is just the preface, but then we get to actually journey and say, how does this apply in our actual life experience? Like, that's fine and dandy. That's cool if I'm setting time aside and I'm studying this and discussing it abstractly, but okay, now I'm out here in everyday moments and I'm, doing my yoga practice. I'm out here and I'm going for a bike ride. I'm out here and I'm, taking out the trash. I'm out here and I'm stuck in traffic. I'm out here and I'm, working on this work project. I'm out here and I'm trying to go to sleep at night. I'm out here and I'm, doing these everyday moments. What is the application of it in that? And what is the application when there's something you want to transform? There's a pattern of thought, a pattern of feeling, a pattern of choice tendency, a habit, or something in your mental, emotional, or behavioral action pattern or habitual health, something arising in your mental, emotional, physical, or energetic bodies that you want to shift, some way that your inner realities are projecting navigation, projecting thoughts or perceptions or dialogue, projecting feelings or emotions, projecting sensations or responses, projecting something. And in those moments, you can't immediately tell if that's coming from your soul essence and the authentic truth of your beingness, or if it's just a part of the experience that isn't the truth of who you are. You can't tell if that's intuition guiding you or a projection from your own brain-body wiring. You can't necessarily tell if these are parts of you that are really needing you, or if that's a thought pattern to not feed into. And so if there's something that you want to understand or shift or improve or transform or expand in terms of this internal navigation, then we can explore it in a very specific way by understanding the neuroscience of what's creating that thought pattern, understanding who the self is within and beyond that, and then how to connect deeper with those parts of the self and who they truly are, not just how they're in that moment of experience, and then how to influence that experience or the underlying cause of it, so that you can connect deeper with your soul essence, so that body-mind navigation does support the truth of your beingness, so that these patterns of thinking, feeling, moving, choosing, responding, internal navigation are more infused with the authentic truth of who you are and not just patterns and projections from past experiences. And because these structures are so deep beyond awareness, you can't necessarily understand them on a surface level. And that's what these models and modalities really allow us to dive deep into. Through the Trifecta Treasure Trove, we're basically getting imagine like a CT scan or like an X-ray or some kind of like visual imaging of your body that you can't immediately see, right? Okay, so like imagine like a CT scan. There's all this stuff going on in your body. There's all these organs, these bones, these muscles, these tissue, this blood flow, all this stuff. And you're experiencing that every single day, but it's beyond your awareness. And so even though it's happening inside of you all the time, you can't directly look at it and understand it and see what's happening. And so you go to get a CT scan, you get this imaging, and then you get this explanation of, okay, we see this on the image and it means this. And you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense why I've been experiencing this because of this thing happening deeper inside of me. Okay. So imagine that, but with your body mind. And so you have all these surface level experiences that you're aware of. You're aware of your mental states, your emotional states, your behavioral or action pattern or habitual states. You're aware of these projections of navigation. You're aware of how you're experiencing your sense of self. You're aware of these different feelings and sensations, but you're not necessarily aware of these structures in brain-body wiring and body-mind miracles and the essence of your soul or consciousness, who is in the navigational structures preceding those projections and in the energetic essence of yourself beyond those experiences. And so to actually be able to explore it and have a visual map, a representation of those inner realities and the wiring of the brain and the body and the essence of self aspects flowing through it and what's happening in the details of your inner being that precede those surface level observable experiences. And so that is a way we can explore the Trifecta Treasure Trove and body, mind, soul, self treasure mapping techniques. Another original modality that's a part of the Trifecta Treasure Trove allows us to do that, to use these diagrams to actually map out and create a visual representation of the application of all those ideas we talked about. So now we're not just exploring the idea of them, we're applying them in specific situations. And then once you're able to understand the deeper realities of any type of experience, you walk into a certain room and you have a certain sensation, but you don't know why or what it means or how it connects with who you are or how to shift it or anything. Okay, you're going through your day and there's this chronic pattern of thought that comes up every time you do a certain thing or feel a certain way or at a certain part of your day or whatever. And you're like, okay, I noticed it, but what does that actually mean about the wiring of my brain and my body? What does that actually mean about the navigational structures of my body mind? What does that actually mean in terms of how aspects of myself are experiencing this brain and body beyond my own awareness? What does this actually mean about who I am? And so we can explore this in a deeper way and actually create personalized treasure maps through body, mind, soul, self treasure mapping techniques that apply these ideas so you can draw it out, basically. And so anything within the sensations of your personal experience, inner realities, or sense of self, you want to understand and explore, shift or transform, improve or expand. Maybe something being disrupted you want to transmute, and maybe a new type of pattern you'd like to install. And within that, connecting deeper with who you really are within the experience of that, but also beyond that. And so we explore this in a very profound way through neuroscience, consciousness, and unconditional love. And then you want to be able to connect with the authentic essence of your true self, your true identity, your soul essence. And when there's all this navigation being projected from the body mind in every nanosecond of experience, where the brain and the body wiring has data from everything you've ever encountered in this entire life beyond anything you can fathom, sometimes it can be really hard to say, okay, wait, I awoke to my soul and I'm this infinite being and I'm this eternal essence and I'm a vibrational consciousness and whatever your perception of your soul might be. Okay, but how do you connect with that soul essence in these everyday moments? How do you reattune with that essence of your authentic soul even while there are these projections from unconscious memories? How do you connect with that essence of your soul self, your true self, even while there's all this navigation from, 3 decades of complex trauma or whatever it might be for you personally? How do you stay attuned with the essence of your soul? How do you meet your self essence? How do you get to know the truth of who you are? And what does that actually look like? What does that feel like? And how does that create loving liberation in everyday moments? And part of this, one small piece of this, is connecting with the essence of soul self as sacred love, as infinite love, as unconditional love. And in any given moment, to be able to say, I am love, and to connect with parts of the self who have a specific role to play. Parts of self, aspects of self, have a specific role to play in relation to experiencing, expressing, and embodying love. Different aspects of self flowing through different regions of brain-body wiring and different patterns, these navigational body-mind structures. Those different parts of the self, those distinct aspects of the soul within the human experience, have their own role to play in being love. Their own role to play in being love. And when we connect with the love of the self of these aspects of our own soul, life expands beyond anything you can possibly imagine. And this includes, but is not limited to, connecting with parts of the self who are love's sacred witness, the observer of sacred love, love's sacred champion, the champion of unconditional love, love's sacred power, the power of infinite love, the sacred power of unconditional love, love's sacred presence, the presence of infinite love, the presence of unconditional love, when we can start to know aspects of the self as love and within their role of being love, and also understanding how those parts of self are experiencing life through this brain-body wiring, how love sacred presence experiences navigation from the body-mind, for example, there are new opportunities to awaken to your soul essence in an expanded state of consciousness and to simultaneously be more anchored into the physical body and the human expression of your soul. And to have a greater attunement with both of those worlds, not as disconnected experiences where there's your soul essence you connect with during meditation, and then there's this human experience you're moving through in everyday moments, but to have this very profound bridge where you are infinite consciousness within this specified human form in a very particular way that allows parts of you to feel more seen and loved and honored and connected and supported and respected and embraced and nourished and secure and stable and sustained and celebrated and with a sense of belonging and being valued and wanted and important. And when parts of self can start to feel that from the space of your own expanded awareness, the unity and wholeness and connection you experience with all parts of you, all aspects of you, the truth of your essence creates so much wholeness and unity and connection from within that it transcends anything you can put into words. And simultaneously, that unity and connection with all parts of self expands your soul's capacity to influence brain-body wiring, to shift body-mind miracles, to resculpt these foundational structures that are affecting every moment of your existence here on planet Earth. And so by doing this, you're attuning with parts of the self in a new way, understanding the inner realities of how those aspects of soul are flowing through these brain-body wiring, right, through neuroscience and stuff. But then you're also expanding your own consciousness and attuning with the self you truly are beyond that as well. And when parts of self feel seen in this way, it opens doors for miracles that you've never even had the opportunity to somatically embody before. So we explore these parts of the self as love, sacred witness, love, sacred power, love, sacred champion, love, sacred presence. And that creates explicit self-sense. And then we explore implicit self-sense. And we explore these aspects of self as love, sacred abundance, an abundance of unconditional love, the infinite abundance of sacred love, the sacred abundance of infinite love. You are love's abundance. You are an abundance of unconditional love. And to explore parts of the self as love's sacred bliss. You are bliss. You are love's infinite bliss. You are the bliss of unconditional love. You are the bliss of infinite love. You are the bliss of sacred love. And I am, you are, we are love's sacred joy. The joy of unconditional love, the joy of infinite love, the joy of sacred love, love's sacred joy, love's infinite joy, love's boundless joy, the joy of unconditional love. And I am, you are, we are love's sacred embodiment, the embodiment of sacred love, the embodiment of infinite love, the embodiment of unconditional love. I am, you are, we are love's embodiment, love's joy, love's bliss, love's abundance, love's presence, love's power, love's champion, love's witness. And then to get to know these parts of the self through everything we talked about before, to know the role of being love in relation with masculine and feminine energies, to know the role of being love in relation with left, right brain hemispheres, midbrain, forebrain, hindbrain, to know these parts of self as their role in being love through patterns of feeling and movement and unconscious memories, to know these aspects of self and their role in being love through the navigation of perceiving, receiving, sustaining, and emitting energy, to know these parts of self and the role they play in being love through mind, body, spirit connection that bridge worlds between inner and outer realities, etc., etc., etc. And the relation of being able to experience the love that we are and those roles of being love in correlation with very specific internal attachment needs. And when we connect deeper with aspects of self from this expanded awareness of the true identity of being love, that's everything. It's everything. It's everything. Your sense of self, the experience of your own existence, the experience of your own being, how you associate with your own state of existence and being will never be the same. Forever expanded. Forever expanded. Forever and ever and ever expanding. Sensations, somatic sensations of loving liberation sparked in everyday moments. And then from that place, okay, maybe there's parts of the self who really haven't had the opportunity to experience themselves as love. Maybe there's parts of the self who don't feel like they are love's presence. Maybe there's parts of the self who don't feel like they are the power of infinite love. Maybe there are parts of the self who don't feel like they are the joy of unconditional love. Okay, then let's create a daily practice through a personalized play prompt prescription that nourishes attachment needs to resculpt brain-body wiring, repattern and restructure the miracles of body-mind navigation, and to activate and awaken these aspects of the soul, to expand these states of awareness, to ignite these expanded states of awareness and consciousness, to nourish these specific internal needs for all parts of self, and to reintroduce these aspects of the soul to their own being as love, to connect deeper with those parts of the self as love, and to repattern the body-mind so its navigational structures naturally, instinctively, automatically, innately support the essence of self as love. As love. So we have the opportunity to explore, understand, shift, transform, improve, and expand our realities, our sense of self, our inner being, how we experience the navigation and translation of everyday moments of personal experience and the details of our own life. And from that state, we connect deeper with all parts of ourselves. We know the love that we are. We know the essence of our soul. We also understand how that soul flows through our brain and our body and all this complex wiring. And we have power to shift and rewrite that, to resculpt it, to repurpose a lifetime of memories, to repattern trillions of navigational networks so that the brain and the body naturally support the love that we are. And so that body-mind miracles can know the love that it is through the nourishment of its attachment needs. Thank you so much for exploring these miraculous topics, life-changing, life-shifting, life-expanding beyond human comprehension. If you are ready to dive deeper, I have spaces available in my Reborn as Infinite Love multi-month journey, a 3 or 6 month one-on-one personalized pathway where we dive deep into every single thing I just talked about, step by step, bit by bit, piece by piece, through a journey that is 100% custom tailored to perfectly fit who you are, where you're at, and what your intentions are. Lovingly meeting you exactly who and where you are right now, with the very precise and powerful, purposeful aim towards whatever your intention might be. And this journey includes weekly video sessions with me where I serve as a teacher, facilitator, and guide so that you can learn these concepts and learn their application, not just so I can coach you through some ideas, but so that you can actually start to anchor into these wisdom teachings so that you have all the power inside of you. You have all the tools inside of you. You have all the tools inside of your own awareness. You have all the opportunities inside your inner being. And through this gradual journey, by the end of it, you'll be able to harness all of these in any way, in a million different ways moving forward. So there's so much growth and expansion and transformation and loving liberation and exploration and amazing discussions and expanding states of awareness and beautiful practices and inner child nourishment and loving liberation and body, mind, soul, self treasure mapping and treasure trove tete-a-tetes and discovery discussions and just exploring these teachings and discussing the concepts and exploring their application and specific things you're experiencing and understanding your realities and shifting certain patterns of inner navigation and expanding with connection and attunement and unity with all parts of yourself and getting to know self aspects in these rejuvenating ways and expanding the sense of self that carries you through the love that you are. And there's all this amazing magic on the way, but it's in a way that you'll then have these tools moving forward to continue using them. This is designed to support you infinitely moving forward, as well as during our time together. And so 3 or 6 months of one-on-one weekly guided video sessions. And then there's also about a dozen or so self-guided journeys that are included in this. And they are utilized before, during, and after our time together. And how you want to use them is completely up to you, but I will say that the more you do create space to dive into them, the more you'll get from our sessions, the more transformation you'll experience, and the more tools you'll have moving forward. And so I want to give you every opportunity to dive as deep as possible. And so there are these dozen or so self-guided journeys and playbooks that support this journey before, during, and after our session. So you have something tangible, some reference guide that can support you before we meet, in between our meetings, and beyond our meetings. If you are interested in Reborn as infinite love, Reborn as infinite love, I would be absolutely honored to connect with you through a miracle meeting, a brief video call to explore these possibilities. And it's a time of sacred space where we connect and we get to talk about this. And I would love to hear what led you into exploring these concepts, what your intentions are for investing in your own loving liberation through Reborn as infinite love, and what clarifying questions you might have about what this journey actually is or how it can be personalized to fit who you are, where you're at, and what your intentions are. And then if it's a great fit for both of us, we dive in and life starts to expand beyond your wildest dreams. If you're interested in these concepts and their application in your personal journey, but not quite ready for that multi-month, one-on-one, profound level of transformational magic, there are also a variety of self-guided journeys you can acquire individually or do a one-on-one session with me that's just a single sacred soul session without a multi-month commitment. And the sessions with me also include some little playbooks that support your time before, during, and after our sessions, and the self-guided journeys you gain lifelong access to. And there's Soul Self Treasure Trove Guidebook, the Treasure Trove Picture Book, Restoring Consciousness Toolkit, Liberated Consciousness Lifelong Reference Guide, Self-Love Liberation, even Implicit Transformation, a Mystical Odyssey Imaginative, Pillars and Portals of Light, so many amazing self-guided journeys, and the journey of discovering these ideas and applying them and creating the content and then re-journeying through the modality has completely transformed and expanded my own life experience. And I am so passionate, excited to share this with you. And then through single sacred soul sessions, we can go through body, mind, soul, self treasure mapping techniques or any of the application of any of the concepts I've shared in a way that can serve and support you at your absolute highest. If you'd like to connect with any of my offerings from one-on-one sessions, multi-month journeys, or self-guided courses, you can always just send me an email. And there's also web pages and introductory playbooks that share more information. You can always reach me at heavenonearthfromwithin@gmail.com. I would be absolutely honored to serve and support your personal journey of healing, nourishment, conscious expansion, and loving liberation through these original modalities of the Trifecta Treasure Trove.